Discover the future of gaming this November. Hear from over 90 speakers across the globe. Check out the newest Web3 games. Over 300 esports athletes and meet your future developers. The future of gaming is here. Don't get left behind.
All right, hey guys, GM, what's good?
GM.
Hey, what's up?
Hey, everyone.
Gia?
Let's go YGG.
We got a very special guest in the house today. It's Day from community. How you doing, Day?
Yeah, I'm doing good. Thanks. What about you?
Yeah, pretty good. Super excited for the upcoming YGG Web3 Games Summit. All heads down, and can't wait to see the rest of the community over in Manila next month. But yeah, first things first, before we get there, we have no ACLs and Fallen with us today here on stream as well, because we are going to be shaking things up a bit for this upcoming game spotlight, where we're going to be, just giving a spotlight on G.A.P Season 4 as we get closer to the end at the first week of November. So yeah, Fallen, how's everything going?
Yeah, it's going good. We're into that final kind of grind to get everything wrapped up for G.A.P here. We've been, making a few announcements, letting people know. Seems we've got a lot of questions and, multiple channels about people completing it. There's lots of people grinding these quests, so figured we kind of put a spotlight together before we come to that close. And anybody that's got questions or needs help for these G.A.P quests, this will be kind of your final week to really get any extensive help from Core, the broader game ambassador community, before we go into that submission vetting phase.
Yep. I mean, it's a few weeks away from November, and we will be going into some numbers and some stats with Day in just a bit. But before that, we definitely want to hear, how the community has been enjoying Season 4 quests, and we have no ECLs, who's been, just digging really deep and trying to get as many badges as possible with his new gaming PC setup here. Hey, ACLs, how's a 4090 going, man?
Oh, it's going wonderfully, man. Just the lack of time is not going so great. But, I've been grinding away at some of these G.A.P Season 4 quests, mostly in the, the streaming categories and content creation and community aspects there. But I've got some of these games, under my belt here, like My Pet Hooligan and Champions Ascension, a few games that I've been looking at. So yeah, I'm excited to dive into it with you all and share the experience. I'm curious to see, where the community's been focused and who's really going for which quests. So it should be fun to highlight all of these fun things here.
Yeah, I mean ECLs, right? So the strength of your desktop is inversely correlated to the time that's available for you to play it. I think that's a fact there for everyone across the board.
Yeah. You got to work so hard to get there, and then you just got to keep going, right? But who needs sleep, right? So there's always time.
That's true. Well, yeah, I mean, even over at the YGG big time community, like we've seen, a lot of our community members going for some PC upgrades in the past weeks, just because of the release of the game, and just a lot of excitement towards that. And we're going to be seeing a lot more of that happen as more and more of the YGG partner games are getting released. We've also had My Pet Hooligan, making its debut, Block Lords as well. And we've had some killer energy parties with the Pixels in the past few weeks. But yeah, I think we are due for some highlight videos that we have prepared for you guys. And Senpu, anytime you're ready, let's go for it. If you see yourself there, just drop a shout. That's me.
that bomb. Take it, bud. That's what you get. Okay, I need a gun if we're gonna deal with this guy. Let's see what we have up here. Alright, we got the plunger. This is a big play. This is a try-hard play right now. Let's see what we can make happen with the plunger. Got him. Got him! Right in the face. Alright, we gotta be careful with this guy. Got this. Alright, we got another player coming in on us. Boom. Rolling with some hooligans. Oh yeah. You know it. I gotta say, plunger, one of the hardest weapons to use in this game. Alright, let's go. We need some carrots here. Gotta get some health. Perfect. Let's go. Still holding the lead. Secure, solid. Not worrying about these guys very much, to be honest. Ooh, nice plunger AI wax. GG's.
Nice. I see Day with dropping the comment here on Discord. Coding got him with ACL seeing 2 seconds in the future before even the plunger lands. How's it been
I was
going
just getting
for you,
hyped that the
ACL?
first one hit. Yeah, it's been great.
Yeah. I mean, so could you give us a quick run through, right, of how the experience is with My Pit Hooligan, and also, being able to, grind for some badges there with the quests that we have available for season 5, and yeah, like, how is it, and what are you excited about going into the next season of G.A.P with quests like what you just did for My Pit Hooligan?
Yeah, for sure. So for this season, even the previous season, we've had one quest for My Pet Hooligan, and it's essentially an exploration quest, just showcasing your journey in My Pet Hooligan, right? A highlight that you choose. So I'd like to see some more quests because, we've got the season pass and play, the Founders Pass, right? And there's a few game modes in here, and there's tons of community events and tournaments going on. So it'd be cool if maybe we structure something going forward and get more quests for My Pet Hooligan. But I think the current quests we have for the Urban Climber, it's a fun quest. Get your feet wet, get yourself a My Pet Hooligan badge, and try out the game. It's free to play. I've had a great time with it so far. We've been packing the servers over the course of the last few weeks here and there. So yeah, looking forward to more events for My Pet Hooligan. Hopefully we cook them up soon.
Yeah, from what I remember as well, right? The quest for My Pet Hooligan was created before season 0, and now that we have 2 other game modes that are available, we have Anarchy, and we also have Coin Apocalypse. Plus, not to mention our first 2 community events for Southeast Asia servers with My Pet Hooligan for Hooligan City, right, has been very much, what was really supported. I would say. I wouldn't say. I'm trying to say that we kind of almost crashed the servers, but I don't know a lighter way of saying that. But we did. We filled up the servers to a point that we had to switch game modes a couple of times because of the lag. And yeah, it's really good to see, especially the guys over at NFT X Street. Shout out to JB and the community there for just really diving in and bringing in their players for MPH, and hopefully, right, since we have community events, community tournaments that are already ongoing, like what we also have for Big Time, the Big Time Community Cup, right, and Big Time as well is already in their pre-season. So well, that's really up to Fallen and Day here, right? How they shape it, but I think it just makes sense to tie in, some G.A.P quests with community tournaments and community events like later on. Fallen. Oh well, I see ACL's he has a screen up here, so yeah, go for it, man. Like, yeah.
Oh yeah, I was just showcasing the My Pet Hooligan badge here on the Season 4 tab. So if you go to yieldguild.io, and on the homepage actually, when you land there, you're greeted with the Guild Advancement Program message. You can check it out ending November 1st, and then there is a whole slew of quests here, right? And you can choose by category based on our various partnered games. So we were looking at My Pet Hooligan. There's one quest this season, and it is the My Pet Hooligan Urban Climber quest. So if you view the quest, you can see the badge and then the criteria required to attain that badge. And this particular quest was creating video content featuring My Pet Hooligan, exploration, gameplay, and the guild. So there are tons of badges just like this for various partnered games. And we've been doing this for 4 seasons, and it's been a great time.
Yep. And of course, right, like the community is like really the focus here when these quests are created. Like we have Fallen and Day here could get, dig deeper into that on how the community, our community, gets to have a say in how these quests are made, with together with the help of the G.A.P Council as well. We've seen the work that's been put in to make sure that the community has a voice, or the community's voice is the priority in shaping these quests as we keep on building every season. But yeah, maybe I'll hand over the microphone here back to Fallen, and he himself has gotten started on Big Time. How's it going, man? And any updates on how you guys think you're going to be shaping the next Big Time quests?
Yeah, it's going good. I definitely did jump into Big Time there. I was grinding with some of our guys over there. I got to level 12. We did some prestige runs there. But yeah, I'm actually going to hand it back over to Day, so Day can kind of talk about how to get involved in G.A.P and what the G.A.P Council has been cooking up, and kind of the future of G.A.P there. He's really the, architect, if you could say, of what's going on with G.A.P, and he's got all the info there on where we're kind of going with it and how to get involved. So Day, after you, buddy.
Yeah, thank you, Fallen, for the end off. Well, this season is closing in 2 weeks, but it's never too late to get involved. So if you didn't get a shot at this season, we will start the planning of the next right away, and community, of course, has a say in what games will be featured, what quests we will be featuring. It all boils down to our capabilities in handling our game rosters, but also people needs aligned with what we want to showcase, and what we believe in YGG. And so yeah, Sedano earlier was talking about My Pet Hooligan quests. As you mentioned, they released 2 gameplay loops right after we close out our planning for last season. But you could say that if it was a successful season for My Pet Hooligan on the community side, there is great chances that for next season there will be more quests on that game, and that's the same across the board. So that's the idea behind it. Games that are supercharged by community are the one we are looking at first, to basically generate some quests. And since last season, we've been getting more people involved into the direct design of this quest. So we rely more and more on community to generate those, and hopefully, as we understand better as well our own program, we want to hand that off to community. The more it will resemble a system that is comprehensive by more people, the less we will be, the more people we will be owning that system, essentially. So that's the whole vision behind it.
Well, I mean, yeah, very well put there, Day. And maybe one thing really to point out here is that the community, or the community team, right, and the G.A.P Quest team. Shout out to Mark, who's also listening right now in Discord. Really the priority here is to be able to just bring in more players to the games that the community loves, like reactivating, getting our YGG community who might been inactive in the past few seasons to just go back. Like if we have games that the community really likes and really supports, like we are more than willing to dig deeper into these games, check it out ourselves. I mean, a good example here is even landfill has been, I mean, I'm super sorry, Phil, for if this is this is supposed to be a secret that you're currently grinding the season 0 battle pass of My Fight Hooligan. But I mean, we have Dan as well, who's really killing it on Block Lords at this right now as we speak. And yeah, I mean, it's also fun to see community core and yeah, everyone in the YGG ecosystem, like just getting on into these games as they're being released, and might as well get a badge or two while you're at it. So I have a quick question here, maybe for you, Day. Like, let's say well, from the previous seasons, right? Like there has been a lot of improvement on on the quests and also the approval mechanics and system. Like we've used to be doing this very manually, and slowly we've been adding layers of improvement, trying to get everything as automated as possible to remove remove the bias from having to rely on someone to be saying yes or no for approvals of quests or criteria or whatnot. Maybe the question here is how does it look for games that have built-in guild systems or like tracking systems that can help accelerate the process of approvals and also tracking for quests? Like or is the team more keen on activating future gap quests on those, or yeah, what's the whole process there?
Yeah, sure. So I will answer your question, but more I will give you a little background on and run on the numbers, like to compare to like last season and this season. So I could explain the development of the feature that facilitated what you just discussed about, and what we will lean toward for next season. So you will have the whole context. So last season we had around like maybe 1.2k participants, and so we capped at around like 12k enrollments basically. This season we received more than 2 times that, so we have like 3,000 users for like 30k enrollments. So not only we have like 75% more quests, but we have actively more people like just joining the program. And so that required us to like better delegate and organize the way submissions were handled. And so far we've been relying a lot on operations, so delegating to more people that we have trust in, that are tracked record toward the program. So that is materialized into achievements and also anything they got involved to with YGD that build up that reputation. And so we reach a point where it's become apparent that operationally we can always delegate more, but it's not very efficient. So we have to rely more on systems and automation, right? And so moving into that, we understand that a lot of this has to be treated at the product level, and it requires a lot more time to set up. So we introduced some features quickly to actually manage, for example, the higher number of quests that we plugged into the system. So that's, as I mentioned, like we were at 90 quests and we are now at 150. So if you don't introduce like filters or categories, all that kind of stuff, the user will be lost in the endless list of achievements. So that's very much not scalable, right? So we had to put that, and that was thanks to community feedback as well, that we could push for these features to be developed. And now we are getting into the submissions, as you mentioned, and there is a big opportunity for us to work with games, or at least arc to games that they should negotiate with us as well on developing these pieces, because it all boils down to communication with the games we feature. And so we also have to tell them, like, okay, look, we have this many players that are like actively playing your game, engaging with your content, and we are doing it that way for now. That's very much not efficient. And if you want this number grow, eventually you would have to invest like in that like reciprocity to be able to build that technical parts. I'm not getting too technical there, but that's what's at stakes basically. And so definitely for season 5, we are looking toward games that would eventually like facilitate that. Some guild structure already started like experimenting with things to facilitate like the junction between the G.A.P program and the games. But the next step is to really automatize like everything. And so hopefully for season 5, we will have the first results of that.
Nice. And yeah, I mean, just to add, another layer on top of that. One good example here is our streamer quests that we previously had for seasons 1 to 3, right? So, at very first in season 1, we had, it was me, Sil, and Marshalls, who really kept track of submissions, making sure that they follow the requirements, having, like having the logos, having the right channels with the right followers set up and all of that. But as the community and the program grew, there also was an influx of submissions. We ended season 3 with, I'd say, more than, almost at 4,500 live stream submissions. And these these submissions are at least an hour long stream. So imagine like 3, 4, 5 people having to watch 4,500 hours of live streams. So that's really not scalable, and that is also one dimension on how to look at it from where data is coming from. And based from what I asked, right, like they also mentioned that having games and having tools on those games that are ready and are scalable just makes a lot more sense for G.A.P and the team to pursue building on. One thing to look at here, so shout out to the YGG PH community, who also has been really trying to drive like more attention to G.A.P. They just recently launched their Grind with G.A.P weekly show as well. So yeah, shout outs to Sil, Spracky, for those just trying to drive more attention to G.A.P, especially that we are approaching season 5 and we want as many eyes and ears to see what we guys have in store for the next season. It's going to be pretty exciting. But yeah, so we've seen a lot of attention from the community for games like as you mentioned, Champions Ascension, Block Lords, Big Time. And I'm pretty sure that you've noticed, right? Like the quests are always improved every season that gets rolled out, and having, let's say, built in like maybe a guild system, like what RO or Ragnarok Online Landverse has, like makes the job really easier for for the G.A.P team to track how many members you have, how much contribution or how much or what levels have the members reached in game. So it's these kinds of examples, right, that don't have to be really tracked and screenshotted one by one and checked one by one. Just makes the whole process a lot more smoother and a lot more scalable. And yeah, but so if everyone at home has any questions for Day and the team here, make sure to drop those in the Discord channel right now. We're at the AMA discussion text channel is the right spot to do that. So we have a clip actually from Pixels from, I think this was posted last week by one of our community members, and yeah, it was definitely popping. So Senpu, roll a clip.
A few moments later.
Nice.
That was
Um,
great. Yeah.
Yeah, so before we just talk about the clip real quick, I just want to remind everyone at home, everyone watching, everyone in Discord. So yeah, please drop your questions here right now on the AMA discussion channel. Anything related to Gap, maybe any updates or any submission questions, or just maybe ideas on for future quests, or maybe what quests or what games you want to see in season 5. So now is the time to do that. Yeah, for sure, go ahead and drop it right there. So Fallen, yeah, what was it all about? It was crazy.
Yeah, shout outs to Legion and Lilito there. Legion was like, hey, I kind of want to throw another YGG TIFF party before the end of the season. And I was like, okay, sure. If we have the opportunity, why not? So he put that together in the span of like a week, and we kind of had it as like a secret, teaser. We didn't do a huge amount of like announcements or anything about it. We actually didn't even announce where it would be. You'd actually have to go follow Legion's Twitter. You had to look on Discord and actually figure it out to get there out of the gate. But yeah, it was kind of put together. And it worked out. There was a lot of people that really wanted to complete that Gap quest for Pixel's YGG TIFF in-game meetup there, and we did not disappoint. We almost crashed the Pixels server there again for a second time, and as you can see, that building was packed. And we pulled a lot of people from the Pixels community as well, who were just finding out about Gap right when we started talking about it, and they're like, "Oh, there's a quest that we can do." Right out the gate for just being here. So it ended up going really, really well. And like I said, we had like 300 plus people moshing in that
Yeah, it was
house.
over 370 people in the house. I was there with you. That was crazy, man. Honestly, everybody running through the maze. That highlight there, my favorite part was when she like focused in on people who were struggling. Like there were comments coming up in live time, like, "Is there any way to solve this? I'm stuck. Where do I go?" Things like that. It was great content there. But that meetup was awesome, and yeah, Legion and Tiff, big respect to them. Always a great time.
Yeah, and yeah, congrats to the Pixels team as well for joining in on the Ronin network. So that's definitely huge stuff, and it's really it's really good to see our partnered projects, right? Just collaborating and just building on top of each other, and it's something that definitely will be expecting more of in the near future. And it's actually up to the community, right? Like, what games do you love, and what games do you want to see in other games? Who projects do you want to collaborate? So make sure to get those ideas out all the time. It's easy to just tag, these games on Twitter, post your content, and yeah, you'll never know who's going to be collaborating with next. So guys, let's do it. Any questions for Day, Fallen, ACLs on the stream here? Make sure to drop those in the AMA discussion channel. So maybe I'll go first. Maybe Day, a question for you would be, what is the comparison, right? Like, what is the comparison between the past seasons, in terms of new players coming in to G.A.P, and how do you see that in the next seasons? Like, well, what is the overall trend there?
Yeah, sure. So as I mentioned before, like we have more than half people that joined. So that means double the number of participants this season. And so we see a lot of attraction into like accessible games. As you mentioned as well, our demographics are mostly coming from the Philippines. And so YGPH has been doing a lot for that. So the games that are the most represented are like Axie, Big Time, LOK, SPL, also Pixels that we just saw before, right? Like more than 300 or 400 people is insane for a single event. So I think it was a great success. And the main difference from last season, like if we were to compare the quest, is that I think we centered around the basis of building one's individual reputation inside the YGG ecosystem and just the gaming ecosystem, sorry, in general. And so building that reputation by providing more opportunities. So it's less about the number of the quests and more about what's the quest about, and does it make sense for the player, so does for the guild.
Nice. And maybe a follow-up question there, Dave, would be, um, like for me, right? Like we've started to see more and more games work with each other, like whether it be it is like an NFT drop collab, or it's a character appearing in another IP and stuff like that. So for GAP, right, like are we going to be seeing like any collab quests soon, or like multiple games hosting, like let's say one quest that you have to achieve, and like it's a badge that you have to achieve across different games? Like has that been floated, or has it already been in discussion with you guys? Is something that you look forward to doing?
So I would say that the occasion didn't yet present itself. We are sure opened with that kind of possibility, right? It's getting closer to something that would be like interoperability. That's just the end game, right? So if we could make a step in that direction, that would be definitely something to look for. I think, like in my mind, what looks closer to that would be actually a sort of sponsored quests that is like mutually put up like into our program by third parties, right? And so we basically, our job would be to align them on the quest, and so that's how I see it. Yeah, we are open to these quests in the future, and yeah, I hope we can feature some of these like for next season.
Nice. So Dave, we've also seen off-season quests just in the past few like season 3 and season 4, right? So is this something that we can expect, and like what's really like the process there? Like how do these off-season quests happen?
Yeah, sure. So the last example of that was Champions Ascension quests, and basically what happened is that we were in the middle of the planning, and they had a very big event that was happening like very soon, and they've been collaborative to a point where we could plug this quest earlier, and considering that our season was delayed by a bit because we worked on many different products, we thought that it was only fair to put that out there, take the occasion to put a little quest out there for the people to play with in anticipation for the season. And so if we have the opportunity again with other project, other services or game before season 5, maybe you will see off-season quests as well.
Yeah, it's really exciting, right? Is to see like these surprise quests. I mean, like a big difference here is that when the next season gets announced, like even a few days before, you already have an idea of what the quests are going to be, how many they are, which are going to be included. But it's these mid-season quests that really catch you off guard. Like there's no procrastinating that's gonna happen. Like I'm gonna be able to finish those quests like a week before the season ends. I'll just do it then. But when a mid-season or like an off-season quest happens, it's usually time bound. Like it's something that you have to do like within a span of 7 days, or during, let's say, in sync with a beta test with another game. So yeah, it really gets a lot more exciting, and also for the game partners as well. It's something that that really gives them the spotlight as well. So they are also keen on just sweetening up the pot there, like maybe throwing in some extra prizes on top for just some icing. But yeah, something interesting here. Senpu says, Senpu and Nocturnal actually. So first is Nocturnal. He's asking about skill-based quests, and Senpu's asking about daily quests. So I assume has something to do maybe with, competitive, or any, yeah, like any PvP related, or yeah, anything that involves, going up against another player. Like, are we gonna start to see more quests like that in the future day?
So as we develop all the esport branch of the program, you could expect more of those. I would say that each quest has some kind of level of skills that is required to accomplish. Of course, there is some that are fairly accessible, so you would argue that the skill level is very low. But some of these actually requires a lot of different either skills or like soft skills. To accomplish them, and so we look at that when we design the quest. That's actually a component of that, and we only push for more of these quests, or at least more different level of skills for these quests. So we make sure that like the people that are just starting are targeted into the design of the quest, but so does people that requires a lot more resistance to be challenged.
Yep. And I think also like another part of season 4 that hasn't really been highlighted as much, which I think it really is a cool feature to be rolled out, is group quests. So Day, yeah, what's the 101 on group quests, and what can we expect for the next season?
Yeah. So this season there has been some group quests that were general. What I mean by that is that you would set up a group with your friends and tackle any of the G.A.P quests together, and the accumulated number of quests that you could accomplish gets you extra reward and reputation, of course. So we wanted to basically support people doing stuff together rather than getting into that competitive mindset, just because as we mentioned in the past, like there is reward for everyone, and so you should definitely like work more together rather than seeing other people as competitors, right? Except if we are in a very competitive or esports manner, but even then, like we have some quest options that allows you to benefit more from like doing it together. And so for the future of these group quests, I think the next natural step would be to make them a little less agnostic. And by that, I mean that probably categories would have dedicated group quests that are more specific to that category. So if it's a game, it would be matching pretty much the flow of that game. We could think about ways to put like sort of campaigns quests for a game, that kind of stuff. There is a lot to explore. I definitely think group quests are like very complex, but also very interesting to develop. Sure. There is also the community aspect of it, as to recognize community that are part of our ecosystem, and like generating quests that are very much fit for their special needs. And so, yeah, there is a lot to do there. And we are looking forward to double down on these for next season.
Yep, I totally see where you're coming from there, Day. And I think one really cool thing to look at here is that as more games have innate tooling or just community systems built in, like whether it be, a party system or let's say a guild interface, yeah, that actually helps us, like monitor and also execute these quests and achievements, track these achievements. It gets a lot more exciting and definitely a lot more seamless. Maybe something that we could look at in the future, like for games, let's say like Ragnarok Online Landverse, right? They have a guild system that is already built in, and how, let's say for example, a group quest can be integrated to this is that, being able to, conquer a castle, for example, or being able to defeat a boss, together with that same guild, or maybe even in Block Lords, right? A group or a party of people who are able to, defeat another set of players. Like all of these can be tracked as a group in game, which we haven't really seen for other games in the past. But as more and more of these games are accessible, more and more of these guild and community tooling systems are present in these projects, then we definitely will be seeing a lot more group quests as well. So Dave, thank you so much for, just really working hard and making sure that our community has the best experience when it comes to G.A.P, having everything tight and solid, and of course also no ACLs on your end. They're being at the front lines, testing out these quests, bringing in your friends, diving in with the community and just showing the rest of the Web3 gaming ecosystem, right, what we're up to. But yeah, before we wrap up, we do have a few more minutes here. So ACLs, what are you excited most about in as we come close to G.A.P Season 4?
Yeah, for sure. I just want to highlight a couple things over the discussion. We had some mention of off-season quests. There is one aspect of questing here that never stops, and that is the game tester quests, right? So even during the off-season, we still have quests going on for various partnered games and upcoming games that we can test, and they are applied towards our game tester badges for the G.A.P season, right? So for everyone there, keep your eyes peeled, make sure you don't sleep on the quests when Season 4 ends, because they continue rolling into Season 5. And then the other comment I'd like to make is on the live event aspect, because I thought those were some of the most fun quests, to be honest. Like if we take Pixels, for example, with those live meetups there, if we take the Champions Ascension event when they had the 3XP live raid, essentially, right? It was the world's first. That's when we came up with that on the fly quest, as they mentioned. So I think those events are really exciting. I'd like to see a lot more live events as we move forward. Like we saw Big Time recently launch. We had My Pet Hooligan with their community tournaments. Metalcore had a big event as well with Unix, and they did a huge tournament as well. So it'd be cool to get more live collaborations going for some of these quests. Would like to see that. But overall, I'm looking forward to more games hitting the G.A.P Season 5. Maybe we'll see some new titles. There's a lot of cool games out there right now. Like I'll throw Parallel out there. And I've been wanting to see Metalcore hit the list for a while. So hopefully we get some new games in there and more live events.
100%. Yeah, definitely the guy to hear all the ins and outs of G.A.P questing, because no ACLs I definitely think has one of most badges in his bag right now. I mean, Ash Ketchum is going to be getting a run for his money next to ACLs. And yeah, but before we go, Fallen, how does the rest of the week look like for the community?
Yeah, so the rest of the week we're kind of just going to be going over some specific game related quests. I think for my stream tomorrow night I'll probably be focusing mainly on Pixels, since that's right up my alley there. Pixels has a huge amount of quests. That being said, I probably won't shy away from a few other games like My Pet Hooligans. I think I still need to do the Skyhopper quest as well, so I'll probably grind that one out. I myself am grinding out a few quests before the end of the season here, trying to get my own, level up before the leveling goes live on our profile page there. I know for the rest of the week, May has her streams. She'll be doing Ladies for Gaming, Game Hunters, and then the LOK one. And the LOK will probably, cover the LOK quests. AC, I think I'm going to let him, cover what games has enjoyable. So probably Big Time will be in there. And then, any other questions throughout the week, or anyone else who has any opportunities to stream or do anything like that are welcome to, throw me a chat, and I can schedule that in as an event. The whole idea of this week is just to kind of grind out some quests together and help whoever's kind of struggling get the tips or tricks they need to complete it. Like we really want people to be able to complete these, right? We're not here to gatekeep and kind of make everything super hard so you can't do it. We want you to complete it and enjoy it, level up your profile, get some of those YGG tokens, and have a good time. And then for the end of the week on the wrap-up stream, I think we'll probably dive into more of what we kind of see. We talked a little bit about the future of G.A.P here, but I think we're going to dive a little bit more into kind of the game side of it, and kind of just, theory crafting where it can go, not so much exactly what we have on it, and what you might see in the near future, but maybe more long term, right? We've got big plans. I think I speak for everyone here at YGG1. Like, this is, I guess you could say, this is really the first full year that we've had G.A.P seasons, right? We started kind of midway through last year. This is a full first year we've done it. We've seen a lot of support and reception for it. And I can only imagine that next year the iterations continue. Like you said, we're looking to kind of obviously still have seasons, but have more persistent quests, group quests. So we're really diving down this rabbit hole of where we can take G.A.P and how it can evolve to be even bigger.
Yeah, maybe even more super quests, right? We had Axie and Cuckoo and Spam, so that was pretty big too. So you never know.
Yeah, exactly. Super Quests is a whole nother beast. That's not really up mine and Day's alley there. It's a whole different team handling that. But from what we've gathered from them too, they're cooking up some things as well. And you can expect, the same style and polish from the Super Quest for Axie coming together for the next game. But like I said, don't be holding your breath from that. Those take a lot more time to kind of put together, because they are so polished, versus G.A.P. If a game is popping off, you can expect us to put together some G.A.P quests for the community pretty fast.
100%. So guys, you heard it first from the G.A.P. Guild Advancement Program team themselves. So shout outs to everyone who made it here on today's live stream. We have a whole week prepared for you guys, so make sure to jump in when you guys are free, and tell your friends about what's happening tonight. Once again, shout out to NFTX Street, shout out to the YGG PH team, shout out to our G.A.P community, G.A.P ambassadors, and also everyone else. Good luck with your quests. Season 4 is about to wrap up, so make sure to get those badges. Once again, my name is John Sedano. Together with the team here, we got FalllenCorpsez, No ACLs, and Day. See you guys soon. See you in the metaverse. Cheers, guys.
Yeah.
GG's.
Cheers.
Together we play.
Discover the future of gaming this November. Hear from over 90 speakers across the globe. Check out the newest Web3 games. Over 300 esports athletes, and meet your future developers. The future of gaming is here. Don't get left behind.